surprise announcement, y'all, is that we have a collaboration here with our friend Trevor at Inventors Brewpub, and we're going to bring Trevor on right now to tell us all the details. Wait, Trevor's head is oh. Okay, I see it. Okay. I didn't see it in the when you were in the green room. I just saw this. Hey, Trevor, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Good to see you guys. How are you?
Good. So, Trevor, about what was it last year? You and I got into a discussion about how I wanted somebody to brew our Badger Beer Report anniversary beer this year. For the record, y'all, Badger Beer Report, the project, y'all, is about a year and a half old. We started in, what was it, Joel? January 25.
January 25, yeah.
Badger Beer Hour and Report has been going on for 6 years now. So this is the first time that I've been wanting a collaboration beer, and Trevor and I talked about it, and Trevor's like, let's brew two. Like, wait, I was like, I just want one, and Trevor's like, let's go with two. So we came up with two ideas. One of them I came up with, and the other one this guy over here came up with, and you're gonna be really surprised that what Joel came up with, because y'all know who Joel rolls with. But this is Joel rolls with a lot, actually. How about that? But Joel does have his favorites. But Trevor, again, thank you for joining us. And do you want to take the story from here?
Oh my,
what's going on?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of cool things about this. I think the number one thing, obviously, is that it's an all Wisconsin Pilsner. So we used malt from Sheboygan. There it is, Laminar Flow. We used malt from Sheboygan. We used hops from Wisconsin Hop Exchange. We used yeast that was cultured in Wisconsin by Nick over at the Yeast Bay, which you used also in your class of 2025 collaboration, and obviously water. So that's super cool. I think it's not easy to pull off an all Wisconsin beer, period.
Yeah, and before we got to the beer, let's talk about real quick. We'll bring back Joel for the second beer, but let's talk about the inspiration. So the inspiration was Trevor and I were going back and forth, and I proposed, Trevor, that we that the Turbo Tap, y'all, is so the Turbo Tap is an invention that was invented here in Wisconsin. And the premise of that, y'all, is this. Matt Yankel. Am I saying Yankel, right? I'm saying his name right. Yes. He was a student, y'all, at he's a student at UW. And he was waiting in line at the terrace for some beer. And he was like, the lines were too long. I don't know if y'all been in the terrace, but before the Turbo Tap, the lines were long. You would be waiting. So he and a bunch of his boys got together and built a better tap. It's called the Turbo Tap. And what happened was this thing took off, and now it's in the United Center. Now it's in Wrigley Field. Now it's in major stadiums where we need that beer to be pumped out fast, right, Trevor? So Trevor was like,
it'll fill a pint in like 2 seconds. It's insane.
Yeah. So, since Trevor works for Inventors Brewpub out of Port Washington, Joel and I wanted to approach him with two Wisconsin inventors. Y'all know how passionate Joel and I are just about Wisconsin history and all that. So that's where the idea came from. Trevor, do you want to expound any more on what I missed about the inspiration for this beer? And then if you want to get back more into it, go right ahead.
I think certainly one of the coolest things about it is that, for the most part at Inventors, we name beers after inventors that are dead. And in this case, it's kind of exciting to name a beer after somebody who is alive.
Amen.
That's super cool. I mean, he's a super nice guy, and it's been a lot of fun just going back and forth with him and talking about it. Yeah.
So let's just talk about real quick, and then we'll get Joel on here to talk about quote his beer or the beer that he helped you formulate with.
I
But
like
this
how
is
you
going to
locked
be
in a room for a while.
yeah, we got we but we're this is going to be so the beer is going to be dropped on July 31st, y'all, in
Yep.
Port Washington, and
Yep.
this is going to be an event, Trevor, because our inventors coming in potentially in a different way than driving, right?
There is the potential that he will bring his sailboat up. He loves Port Washington. He loves sailing into Port Washington. It's a great harbor, and so yeah,
Mhm.
there's potential that he may sailboat up, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll be down there. We'll be there tracking all that, and then once he comes, he's going to give a presentation right about the turbo tap, and we're going to have some back and forth.
Yeah. So he's going to speak for about 20 minutes or so about the turbo tap. I'm sure he has not told that story very often, at least not in the recent past. So I'm sure he'll be excited to talk about laminar flow and fluid dynamics and all the cool things that inspired, the turbo tap for sure.
Yeah. Yes. And I think we can say that, of course, y'all, we're trying to get this beer at the Memorial Terrace. Things are in the works for that.
Yeah, if you
So
buddy, come on now.
yeah,
Let's get it on tap. More
yeah,
people.
that'd be great because that's where the inspiration started. So it's time to bring Joel back here. And Joel, what is the inspiration? And y'all, I'll drop out of here and y'all can talk about the second beer. So this beer, Trevor, the Laminar Flow was brewed on your bigger batch system, right?
That's correct. The Pilsner was made on it's a little bit over 10 barrels.
And we'll be able to see maybe some of that at the Great Taste of the Midwest.
Oh, definitely. You would definitely
Oh,
get some at the Great Taste of the Midwest, for sure.
oh. Well, on that note, I'll let Joel take over from here.
Yeah, because Greg knows I'm a big, simplicity lager guy, but I also do enjoy some fun beers. And part of it was looking into inventions in Wisconsin that maybe dealt with, some sort of food product. And lo and behold, that led us to William Horlick, who got the patent for malted milk down in Racine. And folks down there may even know that. I mean, William Horlick has an entire high school named after him in Racine. So he's still a pretty big deal down there. But I'm also just a big fan of malted milk. Growing up, I loved it. Could not get enough of it. And not just talking like in malts, like an ice cream. I could just eat that crap plain. I was obsessed with it. And so we talked about, well, what can we do? Obviously, I mean, it wasn't that hard of a decision once we kind of thought about the malt to decide what route we were going to take in terms of it being a stout. And then I think when we talked about it, you kind of wanted to lean into it because it is, malted milk is now, it was not always the case, but it is now often associated with desserts with like malts and, all that kind of good stuff. So we kind of wanted to lean into it being kind of a dessert pastry stout. But when I approached you about this idea, what was kind of your first thought in what the beer would look like?
Oh, well, so you're familiar with Breeze Malting, which is out of Manitowoc and / Chilton. And they always are handing out the most amazing malted milk balls ever. They're crazy good. And so that's what I always think of because I grew up on malted milk balls. Like they were just whatever. They weren't very exciting. But these things are like the gourmet version. And so that's what I was like, oh, I would love to do a pastry stout like this. And so I happened to be at CBC in Philadelphia, talking to the guys, talking about this beer, whatever, and they sell the malted milk powder. So normally when you make a pastry stout, you're going to use lactose in it. But instead of using lactose, we actually use the malted milk powder, which is what a sweet thing. I mean, what a perfect like everything just really came together perfectly on this beer, and it's very exciting to actually use the real malted milk powder to give it that sweetness and to also bring that malted milk flavor into a what's essentially an imperial chocolate stout.
Yeah, because it is going to be, that is one thing for folks. This is, you're not going to need to sit down and have 3 pints of this. It's a bigger beer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's getting bigger all the time. So one of the things that there's this concept called chaptalization, where over time you feed a little bit of sugar to the beer. It kind of re-energizes the yeast and it eats that sugar, and just kind of like you kind of like just sort of toy with it, keep that beer rolling, and so what was going to be like a 9.5, 10% beer is now more like an 11, maybe 11.5% beer.
Well, this is going to be a big boy.
Yeah, so we're just like slowly cooking it along, just feeding it just enough to make it pop off, and yet it's still gonna reach, that malted milk flavor and the chocolate. It's pretty dang yummy.
Yeah, I mean, and for people though, like Greg was talking about the Laminar Flow being on the bigger system. This is going to be a more limited availability beer. So if you want to have Williams Malted Pastry Stout, you should probably for sure come to our event July 31st. And I know we haven't discerned, there's a chance it may be a time tapping or something. Great taste, we'll see. But if you want to be certain to try it, I would come on July 31st and, order it. And we'll see. We may even have some malted milk balls, some malt ring. We'll see. We're going to have some fun with it because it's supposed to be a fun beer. Because then I think that was one thing with these collabs that we kind of had the yin and the yang with, is that we have the more traditional, the beer flavored beer. And then we have something that just is, on the other end of the spectrum. It's not completely, crazy, but it certainly is not your typical beer by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, that's a really cool way to put it, because we're definitely thinking about like having something that's very, Pilsner, it's very traditional. It's very, in the box. Although this one is a little bit different. And I think people who get a chance to try the pills will not only enjoy it, but also be, hey, this is just a little bit different than some of the other pills I've had around the state. But then also to have like the crazy beer on the side, which is fun and interesting and decadent.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the one that you might want to do an 8 or 10 ounce pour of the pastry stout, and then you can order a pint or two of the, the Pilsner. And or actually, you may want to do the Pilsner first, depending on how your palate adapts to the, the big stout. But you can probably, you'll be fine either way. I'm excited to try both of them. I know, obviously, like I said, I was the one that kind of spearheaded and talked about the malted pastry, but I'm just as excited for the German Pilsner. The entire Wisconsin ingredient angle is so much fun. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll be promoting it, but July 31st, people need to be there to be able to try both these beers, because especially the Williams Malted Pastry Stout will not be sticking around for a super long time.
Yeah,
especially if a lot of people show up.
I mean, that's definitely the kind of beer that we will go through very fast. So
yes.
If folks want to try it, I would highly suggest showing up for the event on the July 31st. It pops off at 4:00. Is that correct?
Greg, do you have the exact time? Is it 4 or 5?
Something like that. What we need to do?
Details.
Well, what we need to do is we'll make an event and we'll invite everybody.
Just hold up fingers. 4 or 5. 4, 10. 4 to 10.
9, 8.
7.
Just show up on July 31st, pitch a tent. Just show up in the morning on July 31st and hang out. Port Washington is a beautiful city to hang out. Just hang out for the day and just continuously wander by. You're right there on the harbor by downtown. Just wander by Inventors, and whenever you see Greg and I wandering in, then you know it's go time.
Right. Or the big sailboat rolling into the